Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Dread Time Stories. I'm your host, Dr. Phobia, and tonight I'm going to have a little bit of an extended intro because today is actually a very special day. You see, 1 year ago today, I started this YouTube channel, and it has grown beyond what I ever expected it to, with help from you guys. I truly appreciate it. All of my subscribers are the coolest people that I know, and you're the reason why I continue to do this, so I really appreciate it. Now, since it is the first anniversary of the channel, and I figured there'll be many more first, with the first being tonight, if that makes sense. We've never done a gaming-themed creepypasta on this channel, so I figured tonight we'll go ahead and give it a try. So anyway, sit back, relax, and enjoy tonight's reading, Mr. Mix. Does anyone remember an old PC game from the early 90s called Mr. Mix? It's mainly a typing game, similar to Mario Teaches Typing, where you have to type words into a box to make a chef, Mr. Mix, put ingredients into a bowl. Unlike most typing games, however, this game is notorious for having an insane difficulty curve. The game has a words per minute requirement for each level, being as low as 10 on the first one and as high as 85 on the third. By level 5, the requirement reaches over 500, effectively making it impossible to proceed any further. One of the main things that people noticed about this game immediately was the background music. The music on the first level was an unsettling pattern of growls that got progressively louder as the level went on, often causing damage to early computer speakers that were not designed to handle extremely high volumes of sound. The second level had no music at all, and the third had what sounded like an extremely low quality recording of a hairdryer playing in the background. The two remaining levels had extremely high-pitched ringing throughout that caused severe eardrum damage to those who managed to get that far. Another disturbing aspect of the game was the design of Mr. Mix himself. He was a large, round-faced, overweight man with large, beady eyes and red spots on his cheeks. Most children who played the game reported having vivid nightmares of Mr. Mix speaking to them in a quiet, raspy voice and threatening them to keep quiet about something. However, none of them could remember exactly what that was. One psychologist who saw many of these children reported being disturbed by the sheer amount of terror on the faces of the children as they recounted the details of the nightmare. Many of the children broke down into tears in the process, begging for their parents to save them. However, no direct relationship to the game itself could be determined by these few cases, as not all the children suffered from the same adverse effects. For obvious reasons, this game did not sell very well, and it remained in relative obscurity until a few years ago, when PC hackers got a hold of a ROM of the game and started digging through it. Using memory hacking software, they managed to crack the game's code and bypass the impossible 5th level. What they found, however, was extremely disturbing and caused many of them to quit the expedition altogether. According to these reports the hackers left behind, the game behaves very strangely if the 5th level is bypassed. The game crashes violently and closes, writing a bunch of files to the user's System32 directly to the point that the RAM was almost completely filled. These files are reportedly pictures of people with horribly deformed faces, apparently to appear to be screaming in agony and pain, with their eyes appearing to be bleeding from their tear ducts, and their outer layer of skin tore completely off in multiple places. If the user attempts to delete these files, the computer will violently crash and blue screen, causing permanent, irreparable damage to the user's hard drive. The hackers found that this was caused by a lone byte in the game's ROM that was triggered when the 5th level was completed. After removing this byte, they were able to proceed to the 6th and final level. Unfortunately, all of the original hackers declined to discuss what they saw in the final level. All of them became extremely paranoid and reclusive, refusing to talk about anything related to the game and showing astonishing extreme symptoms of PTSD. Most of them ceased to be able to form coherent sentences within a week, and within a month, all of them went missing. All remaining copies of the game have been destroyed. To this day, no one knows what was in that game that caused them so much psychological damage. Maybe it's better that way. 2 years after this incident, a man was arrested after trying to kidnap an 8-year-old girl from a grocery store. Through DNA and fingerprint analysis, the man was identified as one of the original hackers who viewed the final level of the game. He was wearing a white chef's hat and had a look of unspeakable malice and insanity on his face. When interrogated, the man would only say one thing: "I'm Mr. Mix." That was Mr. Mix. I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening. Like I always say in closing, check under your bed, look in your closet, and sleep with the light on. The life you save may very well be your own. Good night, everyone.